subscribe. This is, by the way, for all the filming kids out there. This is not a right way to do a studio lighting at all. You can see my silhouette. I look like a creeper when I'm only half face lit. But luckily this is not a filming school channel. This is a culinary role-playing channel. Moro moro and welcome back to culinary role-playing. My name is Walter and this is my shadow. And I'm really glad you found this channel. West Marches campaigns. It is a campaign style that has been quite evenly popular throughout the years of tabletop RPG history. It has definitely left its mark to tabletop RPG community. And it is a campaign style that most gaming groups will try at some point. And I mean, it's hard to imagine why not. It has so many benefits for the modern gamer, tabletop gamer. So for those who are not in the know, West Marches is an old, from OD&D times old campaign style. I think the original creator was probably Ben Robbins, if I remember correctly. Ben had basically a campaign where there were only, I think, 1 or 2 game masters and they had like tens of different players. It is almost impossible to run a game for 20 players, and B, it would be a nightmare to try to schedule everyone to be at the same place at the same time, like once a month. So what Ben did, he began this campaign in an area of West Marches, which was this hex map, and he basically said, not direct quote, hey guys, why don't you decide when you want to play a day in my campaign, gather up a party of 5 to 7 players and suggest a time for me and I will come and GM it to you. And also tell me what you're planning to do. Individual sessions are basically more like these episodic things when a random combination of, from a huge pool of players, come together and have basically like this kind of one-shot-ish, but it's more like an episodic adventure that will happen during the one session. So basically you just happen to play with the people who come into that specific session, and they can be lore-wise like part of this bigger group that will send these individuals, the player characters, on different missions. For example, one of my gaming group that I am player in, we actually have a West Marches style campaign going on right now. And in that we are playing these bounty hunters for this local bounty hunter guild. And we basically have a message group where our GM will set up basically like posters, like who are the criminals that are on the loose right now. And through messaging we will say like, okay, I can come on next Thursday. Is anyone else with me? Let's go take down this guy. And we basically decide which bounty we want to try to chase down and with what group of people. So it creates this much more looser campaign that still is going on fully on the background, but the individual sessions do not focus on like certain characters going through this certain kind of adventure, which gives a lot of freedom to the group. Now it's not a serious crime if Robert can't make it next Thursday because we were in the middle of this kind of epic world-defining adventure and our group's healer is not present. Or we don't have to have these situations where Robert will just say, no, it's worried, don't just play without me, the GM can play my character. So yeah, with group play, really nice. But as a solo role-playing channel, I have to also talk about the solo aspect of West Marches. And I think West Marches campaigns are really nice for solo as well, because now you can still build up your world, you still can have like these concise adventures. When you want to play a solo session, you can have like these clear goals in mind that, okay, I have to capture this guy in this today's session. And it's also nice, you can change the rule system, you can change the characters you want to play, so you can still like keep it fresh and still keep building the same world. And for me, this has been a really nice way to try out different rule systems and to keep playing the same game. because now I won't get bored with the same character, and also I won't feel completely crushed that I have to again start a whole new world. A new fantastic copyrighted. So yeah, as a solo player you can have this roster of characters that will go on different adventures. That can be really fun as well. But that's that. Now, the thing you came here for. Not all games are equal when it comes to West Marches campaigns. Some systems are just simply better upholding this kind of West Marches style than others. And maybe more than ever in my channel before, these are going to be more of my personal preferences and opinions. So keep that in mind. These are my personal top 5 TTRPGs that are good for West Marches style campaigns. I'm going to mention games from different genres, so it's not gonna be only fantasy this time. Number 1, I would say Dragonbane from Free League, but I always talk about Dragonbane in this channel, so I'm not gonna mention Dragonbane today. Go away, Dragonbane. Today, I'm talking about Forbidden Lands from Free League. Forbidden Lands is kind of safe bet to say. It is a game that was basically built for this. Well, not completely, but it was like built for hex scroll open world exploring. It is a gritty fantasy system. It is levelless and skill based, which are like being levelless and skill based is one of the biggest deals for me when I'm doing West Marches campaign, because levels in West Marches is a nightmare. Skill-based games, you can still give the characters who were present within the campaign a little bit more up to their skill, but the players who are more actively present in each session won't like completely outscale the people who won't be able to make it that regularly to the sessions. But yeah, Forbidden Lands, skill-based. It has amazing hex scroll rules. It basically supports also this kind of loose, very improvisational style of GMing, which also works really well for West Marches campaigns. You can design beforehand. You can have West Marches campaigns where GM will upfront create the adventure. But I want to say material, because GM doesn't create adventure. The adventure happens when the players play within the game. That is the adventure. But yeah, the GM can make some preparations and material. But the best way really to have a West Marches is to have a really loose improvisational style of play. And Forbidden Lands has just that. It has amazing random encounters. It has amazing individual locations where people can go. So many systems that will support West Marches style of play. Also quite simple game, so new players can jump right into it quite easily. So yeah, as a fantasy pick, I would say Forbidden Lands. Number 2, I'm gonna mention a horror game. And the game I'm gonna mention is Delta Green. I could have also mentioned Call of Cthulhu, but everyone mentions Call of Cthulhu, and I maybe prefer Delta Green just a little bit. In Delta Green, the players are basically like these paranormal investigators from FBI and all the secret organizations that know that these dark eldritch entities exist within our world, but they still like try to keep it under wraps. So it's very much like X-Files vibe. And basically like every adventure and mission starts that these sleeper agents are informed that, okay, now you have a mission. And this is perfect caveat for having a West Marches style of campaign where the GM can just introduce these different mysteries and these assignments. And in every mission, different sleeper agents come and go into these different missions. And also Delta Green has this amazing like between missions dynamics with the agents like loved ones, and they can relieve their stress by having difficulties with their contacts and families. And it is a tale about when you work too long within the organization, your character will eat themselves away and become basically like this husk of darkness. So it works really well because it is like the opposite of characters becoming stronger. They will slowly deteriorate and then waste away in some mission. But it's so cool and so interesting, and it's nice to see that these characters can be really expendable, so players are more willing to take different kinds of risks, and you have these intense situations where like agents will just die, and that's like fine because then people can just create another character and come back in to the next session. So it's really cool to play Westmarch's campaign using Delta Green. I highly recommend it. Number 3, I would want to recommend, well, basically all Forge in the Dark systems would work really well, but today I want to highlight Band of Blades. And why I want to highlight Band of Blades is because in every gaming group and in every Westmarch's campaign group, there are some players who are present more regularly, and then there are players who just come along now and then. And it is sometimes really difficult to find the balance and keep the regular players like acknowledging their constant presence within the campaign world and still keeping it interesting for the new players. And how Band of Blade makes this possible is with the separation of campaign turns and basically like these individual missions. And when you have these players who are more regularly within the sessions, you can give them basically the campaign role positions, because there are people like commanders and sorry, I don't remember all of the name, but I think there was like a spy master and the people who watches the resources, and all there are like all these different campaign roles that gives different commands to the army what they are gonna do next. And these are basically like a campaign characters that won't go into the missions, and in missions these players who are having these campaign roles also play regular other like regular soldier characters during the missions. So it's really easy to just have these regular players make these bigger campaign moves during the adventure and have them being the commander and basically giving the brief, so you can have those regular players being in that commander role and basically giving the irregular player who just comes to the session to roll a few dice and have fun, basically give them the briefing of the mission. So you can really easily play with this dynamic of having these more veteran soldiers and bringing in the rookies into these missions. And again, when within the game system itself you have these very mission-based sessions and also this changing roster, because those soldiers probably will die at some missions and new rookies will be recruited. The game encourages also people to play different soldiers on different missions as well. But yeah, I think this is one of those systems that really gives GM possibility to give different roles to more regular players, but also keep it interesting and invite irregular players from time to time on different missions. And having this dynamic can be really interesting. And as a bonus, I want to quickly mention Powered by the Apocalypse games. Very narrative, very loose, really easy to have like regular sessions time to time. And I have to mention Monster of the Week, like that basically is an episodic TTRPG, which idea is that different groups of investigators will go and take down a horrific beast. So that's quite easy pick. And number 4, if you just want a simple pulpy style of game, Savage Worlds. It's really good in Westmarch's campaigns. Again, character scaling is there definitely, but I wouldn't say it's on a level that it would be unbearable for anyone to be within the game. Because the dice rolls are highly irregular, even the smallest creature can take down the biggest beast, or even the smallest hero can take down the biggest beast if they are very lucky, and they can be very lucky. But yeah, also Savage Worlds is really this kind of fast and loose. It is a universal system, so you can play whatever genre your group might want at that moment, like whatever kind of Westmarch's campaign you want to play. Fantasy, you can do it. If you want to play a Western campaign, you can do it, especially that. And if you want to play Pulp Fiction or sci-fi, you can do that. So Savage Worlds is like, I would say it's a very safe bet to have Westmarch's campaign in. And finally, this is the only game on my list that I haven't played myself. So this is just speculation, but I wanted to save this for last because I would die. I'm dying to try a West Marches campaign in this system. And I'm talking about Lancer. I would feel like that the mission-based mech battling TTRPG would be a wonderful, wonderful game for West Marches. It has a lot of different downtime activities, and it has like these two specific, very narrative mechanics for like being the pilot, and then you have this very tactical mech combat TTRPG battle system. And you could easily play the downtime basically like a play by post style, and you could have this basically this galaxy map with different planets in there, would have like a regular amount of campaign turns that they can do off time, and then they will have these missions, and you could put as a GM like, this is a 3-player mission, this is a 4-player mission, and this is a mission that requires everyone. And then when you would come into a session, because all of the downtime and mech building happens basically off screen or between sessions, you would just jump right in and basically orbit launch the mechs into the battle zone and just duke it out. And I think it would be a very cool West Marches campaign. And I feel like that would be something that Lancer RPG would shine at. Leave a comment down below if you have played Lancer. Am I right? Would Lancer be amazing West Marches campaign? Because I feel like it after reading the rules, and I am dying to play it. I need to tie down some players for myself and try it out. But that's it. That's my top 5 tabletop RPG games that would be perfect for either solo or group West Marches campaign. I think Lancer could be played as solo. I need to make a video out of that sometime. Leave a comment down below. What is your favorite TTRPG system to have a West Marches campaign in? And now is good time to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. This video was all over the place, wasn't it? But that's all from me today. Now it's moro moro, and I hope I see you in the next one. Am I out? Not quite. No, you can see my shadow. Fuck. Oh, I'm gone now.